Hey everybody, this is Brett from Moonstream Crypto. I want to give you guys a quick update on the markets. Been out of town for a little bit, but I wanted to give everyone an update. And where I think things are headed from here, we're going to talk about Bitcoin. Is this a bull trap, or are we trying to rally out of off these lows, the cycle lows, which should be in? Pretty interesting. We're going to look at Solana and liquidations and a couple other things. So with that, let's go ahead and dive in. I want to show you here the total liquidations chart here. And of course, this big tall one was that October 10th massive liquidation of $19 billion and flushed out a lot of players out of the game. Still seeing a lot of this coming in, a lot of liquidations on the short side here as of just yesterday. And this, let's see, there's a little bit delayed data here, it looks like, on CoinGlass. But at any rate, seeing a lot of those games back and forth. There's a lot of talk about this new market structure bill, and that's going to ostensibly eliminate a lot of the ability and incentives for all these liquidations from the exchange makers. So the speculation is that they are trying to squeeze every drop out of the lemon, playing a lot of these market maker games while they still can. So the good news is we should see ostensibly a less volatile market going into 2026, and probably I think we're going to see the new highs, all-time highs in 2026. This cycle here, looking at the Bitcoin bubble index, we just haven't seen anywhere near that kind of euphoria this cycle that we've seen in prior cycle highs. As we can see here back in 2017, the price of this bubble index way up here above the actual price and this last cycle, but we didn't really even get close to it here. So we'll talk a little bit about targets, where I think things could go, how far they could come down, and I want to get through it pretty quickly. But if you do like the content, please hit that like button down below. It really helps us out to get the word out. And I think we're giving some pretty unique angles and TA that no one else is talking about. The one level I'm going to talk about today, what the one level that must hold here, and I'll give you a clue. It's not the price of Bitcoin. It is something that actually called the peak much more effectively in the last cycle and this cycle as well. So you might be surprised to hear that, so stick around. And real quick, we are extending our Black Friday special for our Retire Rich program. I do a live class like this every Thursday with my business partner, Mike. He's been in Bitcoin since 2014. I bought my first Bitcoin in 2013. We do an hour-long class about what's going on in the markets, some news, and also some TA, kind of like you see here. The Black Friday special, you can find that down here. Links in the description below. Moonstream.io. Moonstream.io/retirerich. And you can click over to the button there. It's only $97 a month. This moonstream.io/retirerich, and it'll take you to this page. You can watch an actual class from last month, and you can also click around here, see some of our past calls, etc. And also, we're going to send you a free hat as part of the inner circle if you joined. The Black Friday special is only $97 per month. People have paid up to $5,000 per year for this, and we're going to extend this out through the end of the week. All right, let's dive in. All right, so here's the thing. We were looking at Solana and did put a buy alert out on Solana here yesterday. Now, why is that? It finally broke back above. Let me get on the Solana chart, and then we'll look at Bitcoin and total market cap, etc. So Solana had closed above this important trend line resistance here. I like to buy into strength. Had this nice candle close above the 142.50, call it resistance area of before, and then today we've seen that reversed and sold off a bit and right down into this money block. So these money blocks are part of our crypto mastery signals here. Not here to talk about those today, but these are actual buyers where we see people coming in, bigger purchasers coming in, not with limit orders. They're just saying we're going to buy a bunch here. We've seen these levels respected very well, and so it's interesting that it came down right, just touched the top of that, and then bounced off of it a bit. The blue line is the previous path. I thought we would see a push up to here, resistance come down and go, or we'd fall back into this green zone, push up, reject, and head lower. I would love to buy back down in the $125 range on Solana, so we'll look at some of those buy targets. And of course, these darker green sections are where we visualize the limit buy orders, the concentration of limit buyers ready to buy there, and invariably those have held up. This green box here, incidentally, is where I was buying and selling all through last year. I'll just go to a weekly. I was able to double the Solana in my IRA by just buying in this $125 range, because this was a buy zone all throughout the last year and the last cycle. So I'm holding it there right around the $125, $130, great sweet spot for buying Solana, and we know there are buyers still hiding out there because just recently that's where we saw it reverse right in this range a couple days ago. So the point is, we have some strong buyer support. The buyers just came in. The buyers that were there all year, and this other buy block right around 125. So I would be actually looking to buy here around 135, 130, and 125. Those are my buy limit orders on Solana, with a tight stop around $120. Because if we lose that area, that it might come down to $100 range. I'd be buying Solana all day long. I did buy some right down in here. Caught that in this buy block, which we can see down at this level. So there are some levels for, if you're a Solana bull like I am, that you might want to be watching and paying attention to and setting some orders. Not financial advice, but this is educational purposes only and one to many. So I can say that. All right, let's see. So let's back up a bit, taking a look at Bitcoin, and then I want to dive into the total market cap, because that gives us very good clues. Bitcoin, similarly to Solana, pushed up to local resistance and rejected. Have a bit of a buyer block right there. So here's what I'll be watching for specifically. If Bitcoin can break above this downward trending parallel channel, right? These are very effective as well. Break out, likely reject at this 95, call it $96,000 level resistance, and then pull back. This is an optimal buy point. Breakout, retest, and then resuming the trend. I'll have a little trouble around 98K. And I think around 100K, but and I think that might be where this whole thing reverses rather. But getting a nice little bounce, not too bad. Beats a sharp stick in the eye. This is a swing trader's game at this point. I don't think we'll see new highs this year. Possibly in 2026, either Q1 or maybe they tank the market in December, rest of this month, and into January. But I do think ahead of the new Fed chair coming in May, they'll pump the markets. They'll have like a buy the rumor, sell the news type of event. And so ahead of likely more rate cuts and quantitative easing and eventually stimulus checks. So those are the things that can really prop up the markets, which, as we know, are good for midterms. And that's what these presidents are going to try to do, and rally the markets into that mid-summer midterm. Okay, so anyway, that's what I'm looking at here on Bitcoin, looking at our other signals getting a little overbought. I will tell you what I'm mostly looking for on these charts on the weekly time frame is this trend strength indicator, part of our Crypto Mastery Pro pack. That's at cryptomastery.org, links down below. These are excellent, and especially on a weekly basis, when they align with our early reversal indicator. But you see here, when the TSI, the trend strength indicator, was down below this green line, down below 20, oversold, and then turned green, that's the signal this is going to start reversing and head higher. So we're seeing that right now, where it's very oversold. And when this goes green, and specifically back above 20, those are those signals that we look for. Plus, I'm having bullish divergence on our RSI Pro on the weekly time frame. Weekly time frame, it's like a cruise ship. It's going to go longer. It can't turn around as much. Once it's heading in a direction, it has a lot more momentum than, say, a daily chart, which is like a sailboat. You can turn it around, but you can't turn it on a dime. Whereas a 4-hour chart, that's like a speedboat, and the 1 hour is like a jet ski, and they go all over the place. We want to be following the larger trend, whether it's yearly or weekly. Those are those big moves to catch, and catching them when things are oversold right now is ideal. So I think we could be setting up for a very nice rally, Santa Claus rally, into the end of the year based on these. But until they both go green, then I'm not ready. I need 2 out of 3, either 2, including a TSI. I'll just hide this other one down here. The early reversal indicator, that's an accidental discovery that we made, and I believe projects and predicts or sees institutional programmatic buying and selling. These are great for reversals. It allowed us to catch the last cycle top exactly on the weekly time frame. And you can see here this bearish, this red arrow, bearish engulfing candle, bearish early reversal indicator, and we saw a nice little drop. So these have been great, giving us an edge in these markets. So with that, let's go back over to the daily. I want to get through this fairly quickly. And so you guys don't have, I understand everyone's watching a lot of videos, and a lot of these are really long. So total market cap, same as Bitcoin, kind of in this downtrending channel, waiting to see what that does. Also waiting on the weekly time frame to see if this can start bouncing out, starting to turn green. I think at the end of this week, we could see these confirm and both turn green. That sets us up for next week, seeing a nice follow through, maybe for next 2-3 weeks into Christmas. I would probably be going flat into the new year, but we'll see. I'll keep you guys updated. Okay, so what is the one in the thumbnail? I talked about the one thing you want to pay attention to in these markets, and it's right in front of you. Let me see if you can pick it out. It's right at the $3 trillion level. What does that signify? Well, the last market cycle top. If you remember, most people, no one else is talking about it. No one else has apparently noticed it, but I did. $3 trillion to the nose, to the dollar, was the top of the last cycle here, right at 3 trillion. These big round numbers, they're important. That's no accident. That's when programmatic selling kicked in heavy, and we know what happened after that. So we have gone down below 3 trillion recently. We're back above it. But to have any hope of continuing this bull phase and this bull rally, we need to stay above that $3 trillion level. I think this was a bit of a flush out to get everyone to panic sell, and it worked. Also pay attention to the top, or the round numbers on the way higher. The last cycle top, we had a bit of a throwover, but look right here at 4 trillion. What do we have? That was this cycle's top for the most part. This is a Wyckoff pattern called the upthrust after distribution. We've been seeing distribution throughout here, and that's designed to be a bull trap. So anyway, but right now I want to see this hold, nice looking candle on the weekly. If it can hold, if these can turn green, then we should be ready to go bullish again next week into Christmas. So that's what I'm seeing there. However, on the high side, have some sells resistance around 3.8 trillion, big sell block there on the weekly, and on the daily can really see those sellers standing out. This thick, tall red area. This is taller than it usually is, but it's because of that October 10th unwinding where we saw a lot of liquidations happen. And what that means is, here's what I think that means, is that because usually these are tighter, because there's less liquidity in the markets, the sellers have had to widen their spreads or their prices they would sell for. The reason being, let's say you had $1 million in Bitcoin and you wanted to sell it right at 3.9 trillion or the equivalent. This is total market cap in aggregate. Point being, especially with a lot of altcoins, there's less liquidity in a narrow band. So people who are wanting to sell are placing their limit sell orders in a wider area. Does that make sense? Because $19 billion wiped out here means a lot less liquidity available on the exchanges. And so there may not be that price available. Anyway, that's just my theory. At any rate, lots of sellers above. I think that's going to need to get taken out into 2026. Most we can hope for, I think, into the end of this year is a breakout, retest, and a resumption. Maybe here into the end of December, hit up to around 3.65 trillion, right in that range. And I would be getting out personally. And so same thing, total 2, really tall. Look at this is the altcoins, Ethereum, huge sell blocks. So we're right here. This looks bullish at this point, doing a little breakout, but I'll be looking for it to top out here right around 1.42 trillion. And we can see that was a former resistance area. So keep you guys posted on that. And similarly on total 3, even wider. This is all of the market excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. Really tall area of sellers. These are people that are wanting to get out of altcoins. I think altcoins are going to have a real hard time, and I don't think we'll see an alt season here in the near future. So don't hate the messenger, but that's what I'm seeing. Same thing with DeFi. Lots of sellers, people that bought on these little pumps, and now they're looking just to get even. Here, bought into this pump, dumped, looking to break even. That's how valuable these buy-sell blocks are. Again, you can find these at optionsmastery.org and cryptomastery.org. I used to own a company and we had Options Mastery. So anyway, guys, not to make this pitch fest here. I'm here to give you the tools that you need to succeed. Our signals are built by a former quant engineer, programmer, and full-time trader, as well as used by hundreds of our students, and what I rely on for our success at crypto, at Moonstream Crypto. All right, enough of that. So let's keep going. Bitcoin Sol, we talked about Zcash. What's going on with Zcash? I think Zcash has pulled back to its 50% Fibonacci, and let's see. Actually, I drew this differently on a different chart today. Maybe that was a different project. Never mind. We're pulling back on Zcash into the golden pocket here. Just barely touched on it, getting a little bit of a bounce, but I don't know. I think Zcash has more downside to go. Not sure. We'll wait for bullish signals on that. But also seeing this turning over on the daily here, daily trend strength indicator. We have bullish divergence, so that's a possible. On the daily time frame, I'm really watching the weekly. On the weekly, tells the big picture. This is coming down, and turning down below 80. That's a signal. This on the longer term weekly time frame is coming down. Whereas Arrow's drum's looking interesting, and getting a bit of turn up here. Had our TSI go green, bullish divergence there, and our early reversal indicator. So generally, that's enough for me to start getting into a trade. The problem is the volume has been declining, really low volume. So a little bit leery on that. Just some others I'm keeping an eye on, but aren't quite ready to dive in. Lots of red on all the altcoins. Good old fart coin is back over 10%. It's been all over the board. It's been floating around like a fart in the wind all day long. It was up 10%, then down, and now it's up. So the key point here, not to shill any meme coins, but I will say one of my favorite patterns, as we saw with Zcash, is this breakout of a long-term trend line where lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. And if it can get back above that and see a breakout, retest, and resumption, that's when these things can really shoot higher. I'll turn back on my exponential moving averages. So it's actually looking pretty good there. I would keep an eye on it. And if you can catch that kind of breakout, these are some of my favorite chart patterns. And especially, let's look at a weekly to see just starting to turn green on that trend strength indicator. So I would not bet the farm on that, but it's interesting chart. We're looking for those kind of breakouts. Not seeing them in the top tier like Ethereum. I mean, Ethereum might break up out of this area. I don't like the chart on this. Too many sellers above. I don't think Ethereum at this point looks good to me at all, and many of these just bled out. The altcoins are dead. Lots of sell pressure overhead. I would consider selling half of your all dead altcoins to rotate that into other projects that might have some more upside. Anyway, I don't want to talk anymore about individual coins. Here's a scary looking chart though about Bitcoin on a monthly time frame. This is what I used to call the top in 2021 and January of 2022. That's wrong. It was November. Originally, it was November 2021 when I started to see it out of the markets when this peaked. There you can see, and our other signals went bearish in even as early as October. I have screenshots telling our M3 active trader members to start getting into cash. November, I was saying, guys, we need to lighten the load. But when this cross happened in January, I was pounding the table, get out of the markets. So we did see this. I've been saying that for the last couple of weeks. So we've now seen this happen, this crossover on the monthly. And that's not good. So we'll have to see how this month plays out, but it's not an ideal scenario. If we go to a 2-month chart here, I want to look also at the stochastics RSI, which on a 2-month chart has always called the top as these cross down the blue through the red and potentially down through this 80 line. So despite all the hype and everything else, show me the charts, I'll tell you the news. I've been saying that for years, and clearly things are heading downward all on the RSI. This is 2-month as well. The money flow, if we look at 1 month because it's a bit delayed, we can see all the signals are heading down, you guys. And also our proprietary signal here, the same thing last January when that crossed into the red on the monthly basis, monthly time frame. That was the market top, and we entered the bear market. Same thing here. I think that's what's in store for us. So a counter trend bounce right now. That would be great, but I would not get too optimistic. Here's another look at it here. This is a 2020-25 cycle top. I borrowed this pattern here right from there. Potentially we have a head and shoulders pattern forming, and so if we get a bit of a bounce and come up to this 107K region, I would be looking to sell on the chance that it rolls over. And if we have a head and shoulders breakdown there, the measured move from that could take us down to around 49,000, but I don't think that's likely. I think the more than likely we bounce here in this sort of 70, even all the way down to the 74K region. The reason for that is that's the price of when the president was inaugurated, or when he won the election rather, and that's generally is the lowest price that Bitcoin will go. It won't go below that. So a couple scenarios to look at there, but we'll have to wait and see. Do we get a meaningful sustained rally first and then a macro head and shoulders, or do we kind of drop down to the 74, 75K region and bounce out of there? That remains to be seen. So let's see. What else do we want to look at? USDT dominance here. So this also pushed up. We've been following this for a while. And I've labeled the zones here. This runs inversely to Bitcoin, so as money flows into stable coins, it flows out of Bitcoin in the macro or the total market cap. Same processes back last cycle, did a bars pattern. I thought it might be like that. We bought ourselves some time here, and potentially we'll see this, which would be great. If we push up, if we reject here and rally into, say, March, April, and then money flows out and we get into crypto correction, crash, and bear market. So that's one scenario. Or we get it out of the way now. We see a little bit of a rally into the end of December and then a big correction going into sort of April, May, and even the end of the bear market really fast. But the new Fed chair could come in and start printing money. We know that really drives the economy. Stimulus checks as well. President Trump talking about sending out $2,000 stimulus checks from the tariff revenue. We'll see. That might take some while to get through Congress, so I wouldn't expect these things to play out right away. So these are the two scenarios, but with tether dominance, I can show that when I've shown here that when these push up, we were in crypto correction zone, we kind of got into crypto crash zone, but then pulled back down. So that's good. We want to keep USDT dominance below 6%, 15 in that 625 region. And so I'll be looking for that to pull back down, hopefully, and get another run at the top. But it's also possible that we're looking at this brief pullback and then bear market in the near future. But all we can do is keep that one step at a time. I think we've covered everything I wanted to talk about here today. And so that's what I'll leave you with. Nothing really looking terribly groundbreaking here. I was noticing Solana dominance was starting to look decent, but has since pulled back. So I'm watching all of these Sol dominance, ETH dominance, and none of them look terribly good. So the question is there anything going to be dominant here? If money is flowing into stables, then we'll want to be aware of that. But anyway, that's all I have for you. Hope you enjoyed it. Please check out moonstream.io/retirerich. Watch the sample presentation. We just did another one today. My business partner Mike is excellent in breaking down the news and does a really good job for beginners, intermediate, advanced alike. And so I'll go through that breakdown of news articles, and then I jump into some TA as well, like we did here today. So that is where you can also jump in and get that Black Friday sale. $97 a month, you guys. It's a steal. Believe me, this is a great class. And when we first launched it was $5K per year, but we wanted to make it available to more people. And right now it's currently like $197 a month, but you can get it for half price just for a little longer. The Black Friday sale here. You can also click through and watch a highlight reel. You can click here and see you can see some past trades that we nailed. Last cycle, we were getting in here. We did 260% here on Filecoin, potentially on Render 282. A big one was Injective, went up 568% from when we called it here back in October of 2023. So, and a lot of these I haven't had time to update yet. So you can check out some examples there. And again, please like the video down below. Do that now just so we can get more people in front of this and try to give you some of the best alpha out there. So thanks everyone. Talk to you soon. Bye.